Hello, and welcome back to another Olympic episode of Pull the Chart. Okay, so we are doing Lindsey Vonn today. So, just a quick background on her. She's won lots of medals, like insane amounts, right? She made her World Cup debut at the age of 16, and in 2002 was her first Olympics at the age of 17. She didn't have a traditional childhood. So, she was training really, really, really early, like by like the age of 6 or whatever. And they moved out to Vail. She was basically like homeschooled, and the entire family ended up moving out to Vail. This becomes important in her chart. So the entire family moves out there, and she has said that she has felt bad because her brothers and sisters had to leave their entire like childhood, right? So they had to be pulled from their home, and she feels it was very stressful and she feels guilty for it. And then her father pushed her very hard. All right. In 2019, she retired from injuries. She said, physically, I've gotten to the point where it doesn't make sense. I really would like to be active when I'm older. And then in November of 2024, returned to compete competitive skiing. So it was after a successful knee replacement surgery, which stopped the pain. And she goes, well, I'm coming back. So let's pull her chart. This is Lindsey Vonn's chart. We do have a good birth time. And I will tell you, we are recording this on the morning of her Olympic injury, February 8th. And I sent you these charts days ago, which is very interesting because we had looked and pulled the chart, and we'll show you the chart from the January 30th injury. So it does weave a story. But here is her birth chart. We'll look at this first. And I'm sure everyone sees, like, wow, look at that packed third house. This is your house with your brothers and your sister. So we can start with her sun. She has a Libra sun in the second. She will go to great lengths to achieve approval and recognition. Now I'm doing this, I'm doing this more from her like sports mindset. Is that how you looked at this too? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I was thinking more of like her Olympic sporting competitive mindset. She could be social and entertaining. And I believe at one point they filmed a little video where they're all like country line dancing on the mountain at one point. All I kept thinking was sidestepping in your knee, but that was just me. My brain was like, oof, the knee, the knee. It's in her second house of values. It can help her attract money, right? But here's the other thing, possessions can be a status symbol. Going for that medal, right? It's this status symbol. Her moon. She has a moon in Leo, a 0-degree moon. Did you notice how much early degree she has in a lot of spots?
Yes.
Like, like zero energy is like brand new, fresh, eyes wide open, maybe taking a little bit from the past symbol and sign as well. So that was kind of really interesting. So her sun squares her moon in Leo, which gives you a lot of like ego versus emotions, but could really drive and motivate her. Leo moons like to be the center of attention, or they need their 10 minutes of center of attention. We'll put it that way. It's in the 11th house, friendly, right? But also, once again, I need to be in the spotlight. I feel like there's a few points here where her chart's like, even though it's mostly below the line for self development, there's a few little points that try to draw her into the spotlight. So it squares down here. It squares this fun little stellium here. And I kind of looked at the squares more, where I looked at the moon square Mercury, can be a little high strung, restless, excitable. And then your moon squaring Pluto, you can seek really drastic solutions to problems. And it just made me think about, oh, I had knee surgery. My knee feels better. I should now compete again. That's like what stuck into my mind right away. What did you think of this fun grouping?
Well, the grouping, I love what you said about status symbol. So she is the status symbol, the sun is the gold medal. She is the status symbol. I love that.
Hmm.
Mercury and Pluto together, yikes.
In
It,
Scorpio.
exactly. In Scorpio, I wouldn't want to be on the other side of a conversation with her where she's really feeling wronged or in the
Yeah.
thick of something, or, I feel she could probably be pretty caustic, like you would need a band-aid really quick.
Especially with that Leo, like it'll roar at
And
you.
I would like to add to the
Mhm.
Leo mood that, yeah, it's, she's probably great. She's probably a lot of fun to be around in a public place, but it's also the house of your hopes, so there's a lot of emotional attachment to what she is hoping to achieve in her life.
I wrote down too, it's like the many goals you set for yourself
Mhm.
can like fluctuate though, right?
Mhm.
Even though you set these goals because your moon's here and this is your house of legacy, even though you set this goal, it might not be the end goal. It might end up like things might come in and other
Sure.
opportunities will come up. And while she was on retirement, she was like a broadcaster. So that to me feels very Gemini on the midheaven, out still out with the people, talking about her knowledge of the event. I felt like that is a very good kind of like role for her at this stage in life. So we'll keep going. Let's go over to this Mars and Capricorn in the fifth. Okay. Very athletic, impulsive, loves to compete. And then you've got that Jupiter there too. Might not always like losing, might throw a little temper tantrum with that moon there too. I also felt there was like a need for some self-control here. She's very ambitious, but she puts a very like high value on success. Like this is another moment of like there's success with the sun. Success, success. I feel like that is a word for her chart that she's like constantly driving towards. What's interesting is the Jupiter in the fourth house. It means she can enjoy open spaces and maybe even live on like a hill, which I thought was like a funny description I found somewhere. And I was like, oh my God, she skis down hills.
Right.
I just thought that was really like her home is on these like mountains and hills.
Yeah. Who
Thought
wouldn't
that
want to live
was,
in Vale? Come on. It's gorgeous.
you live in Colorado, you know it.
I know.
She could be this combo here though. You could be a little greedy, which I think when I see like, I'm going to come out of retirement and I'm going to keep going and pushing, or I'm going to stay until the absolute end and this is going to be my retirement, even if it's like kind of like the death of me, it feels like. um can have lots of energy though, very self-confident. She can make quick decisions, which I think you have to when you're going 66 mph down a mountain. um she can have luck and good timing, which I think you need to have when you're like in the races. What did you think of this?
Is Mars exalted in it likes to be there. And Mars in Capricorn, which, ruled by Saturn, so there's a lot of structure with that Mars energy, so it's precision. And like, to tag on to what you were saying, it's precision going down those mountains. It's calculated, it's precise,
Yes.
and if you're having a really good run, you're having a really good run. If you're not, then you go home.
You get airlifted out.
Yeah.
Not to make light of it, that's what it is, right? It's interesting, it's also like she skis down mountains and it's Capricorn and the mountain goat. I mean, she is the
Yeah.
pretty much, I think she is almost the most winningest or something, but she is pretty much like the goat. They called her the queen of this mountain that they're on for the Olympics. I don't know how to pronounce it. Starts with a C. But they said she's kind of like the queen of it. Like she wanted to finish this as her last competition because she loves this mountain track. I don't know what you call it. So speaking of Saturn, her unaspected Saturn over here, pretty demanding, constantly trying harder. Nothing's ever good enough. I think we see a theme in her life,
Yeah.
very much so. But she's demanding of herself and could be demanding of others. Bit of a perfectionist, like doesn't have a lot of patience for laziness. And I think with this like energy she has, it's got to be like go, go, go. So she has willpower, energy, intensity, but and this was one of my thoughts as well, is she needs to learn to maybe react calmly. When you talked about like, I wouldn't want to be on the other end of a lashing, right? Maybe learning to react a little calmer to like life and the problems because she strives for success. And like, I think your ego, pride, I mean, she's resourceful, but I feel like this Taurus, and I can't wait to hear what you think of the nodes, but I'm like, this to me says calm down, throw in the caution flag. That's
Right.
what it felt like to me.
And to your point in the story of Lindsay, you touched lightly on her father. And
Yes.
so that's who I see as an unaspected father figure there, that the target for perfection is always moving. I will never hit that mark because
Yeah.
it may be good on a Tuesday, but next Friday, it's a whole different ball game. It's
Yes.
frustrating.
It's interesting too, it's in the 3rd house of, like, your local area and conditions, and, like, for her in
Yeah.
skiing, like, one day it's clear, next day it's this, the snow conditions. Like, you're never gonna have the exact replica of your training.
No,
It's never gonna be perfect, and that's
no.
just gonna eat away at you. Okay, so I looked at as well, so she's a Virgo rising, right? Here's a little bit of perfectionism as well. And then I also so you've got that Mercury there, right? She's probably, like, calculating in her head everything. And then I looked at her sun is ruled by Venus right next to that south node, and I just wrote, "Ah, desires. I wanna have, and I'm gonna have it," right? I feel like that's I can't wait for your nodal story. What did you think of that Venus? Do you wanna do the nodal story?
We could do the Nodal story.
Yeah, go for
Uh,
it.
it's pretty fascinating
Okay.
and a little giggle at the end, maybe. Her
Mhm.
south node in the 3rd house. So that directly ties back into that feeling of her siblings. She's very close to her siblings. And so there's a lot of weight around her siblings. And for you to mention, she felt bad that all the kids got uprooted and changed their neighborhood. I thought
Mhm.
that was really interesting. Having a Venus conjunct the south node um, means she was defined by relationship before, and required a degree of courtesy, which may or may not be the fact anymore. Given the Mercury and Pluto, I'm going to step away from this need for courtesy to make peace. Um, but it's instinctive to have that kind of courtesy come forth. It's in her blood to do this. Her rulers, so Mars in the 5th house there would kind of lead to maybe an artistic expression in a previous life. And her skill is an art form. No one compares to Lindsey Vonn. More than likely in a previous life she was a woman, right? And she was valued for her beauty, being docile, and her pliability, which I think is very interesting that you're coming in this life. Not so much. Interesting that her ruler, Pluto, to her south node, is also in the 3rd house. In this, I love this part. Love this part. It means you're running on sheer momentum. So cool. So no time to reflect. No time to reflect. You are speedy, mentally driven, reactivity, rapid adaptation to what any situation is that's happening.
Oh.
In a previous time, think of her as a socialite, with a smaller bank account than what she presented, so she was always catching up and keeping
Oh.
up the charm and all of these things. So she's more able to be driven by her wits and her reflexes rather than slowing down,
Mhm.
North Node, rather than slowing down and thinking about what is the philosophy of your life.
Okay.
So my takeaway is you should probably go sit on the mountaintop and not ski down it.
It's interesting you said about, like, kind of like the keeping up with the Joneses type thing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because she is basically chasing one woman's medal count.
Yeah.
So that kind of, like, makes sense of that.
North Node in Taurus, 9th house. Yeah. Step into your philosophy. Step into it, instead of chasing the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. Step into it. I think we talked briefly offline,
Mhm.
about becoming the mentor, stepping into that time of your life. Feels
Yes.
like with the Scorpio South Node, she carries that energy of like the sexy superstar, of being that way, and it's relational. So she has this sense about her that makes us look at ourselves through the lens of Lindsey Vonn and what she's a striking woman
Mhm.
anyway.
Yeah. She's not
And
very lucky in love.
no, I
No,
wouldn't think so.
you would think so. Yeah, I mean,
No,
she
I didn't
dated
think so.
Tiger Woods, remember?
Mhm.
And then she was recently engaged to someone that she proposed to, and they
Mhm.
then later separated off. She hasn't quite found her fairy tale yet.
No. If you step away, and really lean into other aspects of your life,
Yes.
other
Mhm.
doors will open.
I do really think she'd be a great mentor with this North Node in the ninth, in
Mhm.
broadcasting and teaching with the Gemini here and Gemini ruling the third house, like teaching other athletes or
Right.
right?
Mhm.
It's interesting. She did not go to college. She has a I don't know why though, like Wikipedia mentioned. She has something from like Harvard School, but it's like a 4-day something. And I was like, did we even need to
Mm.
put this on there? Is like,
That's fascinating to me. That's another thing about having a south node in the third house.
you don't feel like
It's
you're,
not traditional education.
yeah, she did
You
not.
may not have finished school, you may have, but you always end up finishing school, but it's going to be on your own terms.
Yeah. Like she was online school. And then they just said there was no college. It was just this like 4-day thing she had
Yeah,
done at some point. I mean, she
that's
was out there
wonderful.
getting life experience, traveling the
Yeah,
world.
she has a PhD.
Yeah, and, like, physically going other places. Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, notice too, like, this is intercepted, so she's really not to find her path till, like, now.
Right,
So,
exactly.
when you're intercepted, it's usually those planets come out in, like, your 40s, and she's
Mm.
41, which is a 5th house year for her. So, aspects when we look at the chart, we gotta look at where Saturn is in the sky and how it's aspecting things, but also this Saturn in her own chart. Right? This pushing, pushing, pushing. Let's look at her January 30th injury. Here we have Lindsey Vonn on the inside, and then this is the January 30th injury that ruptured her ACL.
Mhm.
But you and I immediately had a conversation about, wait a minute. Like my daughter's gym teacher ruptured his ACL, and that guy did not work for 3 months. How is she jumping a ski hill? I guess is a rupture maybe is different than a tear? Maybe you just splintered a few of the ligaments? I have no idea. I didn't wanna look at photos. I don't do the procedures, but don't show me the pictures. So, this is the date of the event of this rupturing. We know she's in a 5th house year, so we look at Saturn here, and I immediately was like, "Oh, man." We got Saturn, Neptune here, and then it is squaring her own Neptune here. It feels to me like here's that like warrior energy out of it just feels like out of the gate. And Sagittarius is that like I feel like the continual energy. And I always think of like a thigh muscle, like it just kind of wants to go, go, go. But it's also like delusion of like, your body has some limitations. And I feel like that's that Saturn there.
No, it doesn't. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it says. No, it doesn't. You're crazy. I am going. I Aries, Neptune, and I have a Neptune in Sagittarius. You can't tell me what to do.
There's
Yeah, just give
no
me an aspirin. I'm good. Rub some snow on it.
it honestly feels like just give me the drugs and I'll make it through
Yeah, I'm
this.
fine.
Just
Cut
shot
it
of
off.
cortisol. Just give me the steroid. Just make sure it doesn't show
Yeah.
up on the P test, right?
I'm just blown away at the mental strength of this woman. Blown away.
She hasn't even had a kid yet. I can't wait to hear her, like, evaluate her
Yeah.
pain levels. She's considered a 10 on the pain scale. So, her moon in the sky, though, was also directly across from Pluto and Mars.
Yeah.
Meow, meow, meow. Not super fun,
No.
right? This is momentum. I don't love that at all. Also, you have this Uranus up here, which here we go, shocking moments. And
Mhm.
it that Uranus is perfectly see right against this, like my desire is to be this thing or do this thing. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna do that.
Right.
I don't know if
Right.
that's I'm gonna like shift your course path, right? I'm gonna change the
Mhm.
ley lines or whatever they call the lines on the I'm
Right.
thinking ley lines like astrology and but the lines on the thing. Yeah, I was looking at this and I'm like, okay, the moon, depending on what time it was during the day, was in Cancer as well. I don't know, it's like almost like you were like your shell, your structure, your body is not super happy. So that people know as well. So Capricorn rules the knees here. And a lot of times people will have issues with their knees with the Mars and Capricorn. So they're like, "That's okay. It's only," they called it like they're like, "It's like minor, right? It's a ruptured ACL. Just pop back out there. Off you go. Down that hill going 66 miles an hour." I just watched a little bit and someone was going 66, so that's why I'm using that number. So, let's pull up her injury from today. Not too much is gonna move, clearly, but let's look at today's. Here we have Lindsey Vonn and then today's injury on during the actual Olympic game. So one thing I want to note, her progressed moon is at 17. This is beautiful. 17 degrees of Aquarius. Okay. And then her progressed sun is right over here in Sagittarius, conjunct this
Oh,
Uranus, which is squaring the nodes. This is tough. I mean, I didn't mind this. This is like, oh, a new beginning, but also you're thinking, oh, it's going to be a new beginning. You're going to have a new beginning now. Her Jupiter here. So we've got this squaring the nodes, and then her Jupiter and Mars. It's right south node. It's trining the south node, but it's also sextiling the north nodes. And I just feel like when you've got Virgo here, this is like I just wrote alchemical. It's your sixth house of medical. And then I thought about Pisces, and it's like there can be delusions, but also there can be, I mean, this feels, I mean, I think she was, the responses on is that you could hear her screams, right?
yeah.
So I don't think this is I don't, I personally, based on this chart, I wouldn't want her to come back
No.
to compete. We can look at the 12th, but also I'm looking at this moon down here, right? The moon would have been in Scorpio all day, hitting anywhere through here throughout the
Mhm.
day. This is a tough chart to compete with. I don't think this is good. I think you may have done a number to the knee. And also the head. All these people that like want to be younger again, and you think like, even though this looks great,
Mhm.
your body's at levels, right? Like
Yeah.
it's harder. Like I would not even once think to go and like do some of the things I did in high school.
Mm-mm.
No.
But
Like
I
I
really think those athletes they just have a different mentality.
but also their body gets more abused through time.
Yeah.
That's much more wear and tear.
Mhm.
It's interesting to me too, they said when they airlifted her, they were like, "Oh, her doctors are in whatever town it was anyways." It's like, "Oh my gosh, you travel with your doctors?" Right? You
Oh,
know what
I
I
bet
mean?
they
Like,
do. I bet they do.
probably
Yeah.
it's definitely with her injuries, but you're also like, "Oh, hmm, I don't know. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be necessarily jumping on a slope then if I have to bring my, like, medical team."
Well, that may be normal though. We don't know what goes on behind the
Behind the
planning
scenes.
of your event. Maybe she
True.
has a entourage.
Yeah. You and I okay, so should we even talk about our side conversation of at what point do you know that you're injured that you step aside and let someone else come in and compete and take your spot? We've been talking about Aries and Saturn and Aries and Neptune and Aries, and at which point we think about term limits with Congress. There's just a
Mhm.
point at which I think we're starting to see like we might we might have to usher in and mentor some of the younger generation up and in.
And I think we need to really touch on the youth part of things and not embracing who we are becoming as we get older. There's such an emphasis on keep going, improving yourself, and that we don't even allow ourselves the opportunity or step in, like we were talking earlier, stepping into your north node of wait, slow down. You're moving too fast. You don't even know who you are and what your philosophy is anymore. And as we get older, it's really important that we do that. I see this happening in so many areas. My husband is a musician, and when things are slow or whatever, he said, it's time for me to step off the mic and let the younger kids take over. And then he steps back up on the stage and grabs the mic, and I'm like, what happened to Holiday? I don't know. So
Mhm.
I feel sometimes we need the exaggerated mythology of a Lindsey Vonn showing us that sometimes we just need to do this, and have her lead the way for all the rest of us to
Yeah,
age gracefully.
it's okay to retire. It's
It
okay.
is. Goodness, it is.
We can step back, give someone else the knowledge, let them run with it and change it and
Mhm.
massage
Mhm.
it or do whatever they need to do with it to make it
Yeah.
work for them. Yeah. So I
And
feel like
honestly, I think the younger people get a little resentful. Like, could you please get off the stage? Make room for me, please.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but also I feel like the generations, like we have like the boomers, the Gen X, there's so many of us. And then the younger generations, they're smaller. So they kind of
Mhm.
also get crowded out because we're just like, any more elbow space,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? They
Well,
have to
I mean,
fight
I
their
can
way
say
in.
you and I have lived with this, being of a certain generation that we're sandwiched between the really
Yeah.
big one and the ones coming up that we are the
Yeah.
quiet ones.
Yeah. We're the X.
Mhm.
And I feel like we've talked about it quite a bit. It's coming up a lot of.
Different areas, I'm seeing it more and more
Mhm.
happening.
It's
But
time.
I wish the very best for her.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I
Heal
watched it and I was
fast.
like,
Yeah, do what you need to do, but take care of yourself first, please. Take care of your
yeah.
body.
Also, I think be a broadcaster. I think she's got more opportunities coming. I think that moon in the 11th house is right there helping her.
I think it was in Marianne Williamson and Return to Love, that book. And she said, when you are not paying attention to what the universe wants you to do, the universe will give you a swift kick in the butt.
Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, book readings, tarot readings, birth chart readings, advice like our guidance counselor sessions.
Mhm.
So come, we have lots of tools that we can work with you with. So thank you. Thanks so much. Happy Olympicing. I don't think
Yes.
that's the word. Go watch Snoop Dogg. He's funny.
Yes. Yes.